Anyway, Ross grew up in Holmes County. He started campaigning when he was 16 years old for Ronald Reagan, if you can remember that. But 20 years in state government, an advocate for the defender of the 1894 flag for 25 years. But anyway, he serves on the Central Mississippi Tea Party with myself. Ross, come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. Welcome. We got any proud Mississippi patriots out there? I'm not sure this is working. Have we got any God-fearing, gun-toting, flag-waving Mississippians out there? All right, I got your attention, so if my good looks didn't get your attention, by golly, my words will, so pay attention. Here we go. Now, Alabama may be the heart of Dixie, but we're the buckle in the Bible belt, folks. So tighten that belt buckle, gird your loins, because we're going to let them have it. You hear me? Let's get with it now. I am glad to see all y'all here. As y'all can tell, I'm a little bashful. I'm going to get over it real quick. Would y'all like to be in Portland, Oregon today? No. Would you like to be in Seattle, Washington today? No. How about Chicago? No. New York City? No. I didn't think so. Now, we have a lot of Yankee defectors come this way, and they stay. That's all right. They like our women, and they like our good food. We try to feed them grits and greens to get rid of that funny accent, but it's still around sometimes. But by golly, you know what? Those places I just named, they got all kinds of trouble going on. They got insurrections, they got violence, all of that. Guess what we've got? We've got peace-loving patriots right here. We're not having the trouble in the good old South and Dixie like they're having in other places. Now, I wonder why that is. Can you imagine a bunch of black-clad folks trying to take over a part of the city? Any part, wherever you live. Now, those opposing those folks don't seem to be dressed like y'all. Y'all are prepared for trouble. Y'all are toting a bunch of peacemakers, and I like that. We're not having the trouble down here that these poor left-wing folks out there on the left coast and them poor Yankee folks are having. That's because of y'all. But we do have a problem. And I'm here to talk to you about the flag, and I've been talking about it a long time. And I'm glad to be a Mississippian, and I'm glad that flag flies over me today. It does in my house. It might not from this pole, but it's going to again, God willing. 126 years ago, folks, one or two of you, I see Mr. Larry over here, he might remember when it first went up. But 126 years ago, now I'm an old school teacher, so watch out. A bunch of great Mississippi folks got together and created a beautiful standard. Most of you are waving it today. Why did they do it? Where did they get the idea? Well, let me tell you, folks, it wasn't hard. They took the red, white, and blue, the national colors. All right? They took the idea, the same as they did for the Confederate flags, and decided we're going to be patriotic and we're going to show our love of Mississippi. We're going to choose the national colors, red, white, and blue. Those are the colors of what is known of the Republicans. And I don't mean party. I mean liberty-loving, law-abiding folks. That's Republican government. And that's what those colors stand for. And that's why they chose red, white, and blue. Now, I added that to my speech because there's this little book here that was gotten at Gettysburg, and it's called The Flags of Confederacy. This was handed out at Gettysburg. Somebody brought it to me from there. And what is it talking about but the national colors of that battle flag there in the Canton corner of our flag? Handed out at Gettysburg, Mississippi. And I think y'all know it's a little bit above the Mason-Dixon, isn't it? Just a little bit. But it was incorporated into our flag. What does the law say about this flag that we're all waving? The law said the red, white, and blue of the United States and the 13 stars which stand for the 13 original colonies. And what did they do? They seceded from Great Britain and formed their own nation. And why did they do that? They were opposing tyranny. Don't tell us what to do. Leave us alone. We want to be free. Guess what? So did the South in 1861. And so did Mississippi in 1894. We were getting back on our feet again, folks. We had the horrors of the war. We had the disgust of Reconstruction. And what was done then was as bad or worse than the war, the way we were treated in the 1870s. I taught history. Pay attention. When people come and talk to you now about the flag in the future, you can use what I'm saying, minus one or two words maybe. Nonetheless, 1890s, Mississippi was growing. It was getting better. Cotton was coming back up, corn, all wonderful timber that was coming up down in southeast Mississippi. Timber became a major industry. Mississippi was growing and doing good. Everybody was growing and doing good finally in the 1890s, and at the turn of the century, textiles were popping up in all these little factories all over the state. Until later on here in the 20th century, they went off to Mexico. But Mississippi was doing pretty good, so they said, let's create a flag that honors the past and looks to the future. And looks to the future. Something else going on, though, in the 1890s, turn of the century. Many of our heroes who had fought in the war were dying. They were passing away. Men who had fought. So the daughters, the wives, the children got together and started honoring them with monuments all over the state. 82. You can go and find 82 plus more. Look right in front of you, folks. What is that right there? That bronze, beautiful monument, unscarred, honors the ladies of the Confederacy, as it should. Look at the sacrifices the ladies made back then. Well, folks, they stood up and fought for what was right. Are you going to do that today? Are you going to do it today? Are you going to go home and tell folks there's nothing wrong with this flag? Why did they take away our right to vote for it? We did just 20 years ago. 2-1. 2-1. 488,000 votes to 200 and something. 267. There we go. Overwhelming. But they decided they knew better. As some of our esteemed colleagues from DeSoto County just said. Mississippi was doing better and doing great. Our heroes were dying. They honored them through the flag and through our monuments. They honored liberty, freedom of thought, and they did so with those things that you're waving right now. 126 years she's flown over Mississippi. I think Mississippi's doing pretty good today. We're doing a lot better than we were doing then. I'm glad to be in Mississippi. I got my education here and I stayed here. I came up right between the cornfield and the soybean field in Holmes County. Okay? Yeah, I know the difference. And when I'm talking and giving speeches, I've been known to plow close to the corn, as they say. Some of you older folks, y'all know about that. I'm not afraid to tell it like it is and point fingers. Our flag is beautiful colors. It hadn't changed, and it shouldn't be changed. Just like the truth. Now, we hear enlightened souls say, well, my truth is this. Your truth may be something else. No, no, no. There is one truth. One truth. God defines it. We follow it. Well, there's one truth about this flag that we're all waving today. One truth. It was not meant to be hateful. It was not meant to be evil. It waved 126 years ago to this very day over your great-grandpas and grandmamas, all the way down to you to this day. Did it hurt anybody? Has it hurt anybody? I don't believe so. It hasn't hurt one soul. Now, in the Canton corner, you see a replica of what we commonly understand as Confederate battle flag. Ladies and gentlemen, young people alike, that battle flag was created on the battlefield for battle to fly over honorable men fighting for home and hearth, mama and children. That's what the battle flag was created for. Nothing else. Do you hear? Nothing that goes out there and misuses it, they're in the wrong, not the symbol, not the flag. No. You can take any symbol and use it incorrectly. My gosh, look at the ACLU. They'll pick up a Bible and brave against it. They're sure misusing it, aren't they? I can name a lot of other liberal yahoos and such that use symbols wrong. But see, we know the truth. I don't stand here hating anybody. I can't stand liberalism. I can't stand Antifa. And there's a few Yankees out there that kind of push it sometime. And then there's a few of they inside here that push it all the time. But I don't hate them. I don't think anyone out here in this crowd from my left side all the way over here that hates anybody. You're not here because you hate. You're here because you love Mississippi. And God bless you for bringing your children. That's getting them active. Because let me tell you something, folks, they're not going to hear the truth in schools anymore. You better look at what they're teaching them there. I taught. I know. I didn't use some of the material I was given either. Well, so here we are today. They have retired our colors. They retired our colors. In 2001, we spoke 2-1. Why can't we vote again? Why don't we demand the right to vote again? Well, they're not going to let us. They're making the choice through their political appointees, and I've looked at the flags that might be voting on in November. I've already said I'm voting no. I hope you'll join me. What brought us to this? Folks, there's a war going on out there. You've got children. That's what they're fighting over. Now, I see a few folks here with a lot of wisdom showing in their beards and on their head. Don Hartness is full of it. White hair, that is. There you go. Then I see a lot of folks here that can't even vote yet. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you think about the state that you grew up in, and you think about the state they're going to grow up in. These people are saying, we know better than you. We're going to dictate what they learn in school. We're going to dictate what flag flies over their head. We don't care what you think. That's what they're telling you. There's a war going on for the culture, folks. Are you fighting? Are you going to fight? It takes brains and it takes brawn, folks. You got to exercise one or the other, sooner or later. Look at other places around the country, what they're not exercising. Think about it. The war going on, folks. Now, this is a small battle in this big war, but it's still a battle. It's still got to be fought. And by golly, we're here to fight. Amen. Antifa has their philosophy. Black Lives Matter has their Marxist philosophy. A group of communists met right up the road here in Madison just a few weeks ago. In Mississippi, Madison, Mississippi, they were so empowered because of what happened here and in other parts of the country. They felt emboldened enough to meet in Madison, Mississippi. Never was more than 14 of them. None of them over 25, but they were proud communists. And I am not joking. I went up there and looked at them myself. Emboldened enough. Of course, several of them are from out of state, wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? And then there's this one other group, the NFAC. I can't even say their name in mixed company. They were at Stone Mountain and they were in Louisville. They better not come here. Fraud. Amen. They took advantage of all of this unrest in other parts of the nation to contribute to the wrong side of the culture war. Those in this building behind me. Who are they? They are the politicians who call themselves conservative, but they lied. I hope the TV cameras are still around. Did you get that? Ross Aldridge said they lied. Several of them said it was leave it up to the people. There ought to be a referendum. They lied. They're the ones who promised to let us vote, but they lied. And you know what? I brought a little show and tell here, and it's kind of hard to see, but this is a rubber band. It's kind of like the backbone of a lot of them inside there. That's the backbone, okay? Now, I didn't have a can of yellow spray paint, so I brought a yellow highlighter. This is what belongs up and down the backside of all of those who betrayed us and voted against the flag. They lied. Oh no, not the Democrats, not the liberals, leftists and progressives. We expect it from them. No, those who say they're conservative, those who say they believe in tradition and values, no, they don't. This is for them. I'll say it, and if they want to meet me on the field of honor, so be it. They are cowards. Did I stutter? I don't care. They're nothing but cowards, and I'm sick of these political cowards. So, they also, not just behind me, but think about this, fans, athletic directors, coaches, and college presidents came down here against our flag. The two biggest sports in the state, football and basketball, dominated by black folks. They weren't made to come here and play. They chose to. They dominate the two sports. But, and guess what? All played under this flag. Here in Mississippi, they came. They played. Didn't stop them, did it? Now, I was introduced as a graduate. I don't know if Don said it or not. I went to Mississippi Superior University. That's MSU in Starkville. We changed the name to make it more honest. I don't know if I feel that way too much anymore. But what does our athletic director do? I won't speak to the other colleges. I didn't go there. I'm not ashamed to be in maroon and white when I'm not red, white, and blue of the flag. But let me tell you something. They manipulated the situation, sent all the new coaches down here saying that part of our flag was racist and oppressive. The new basketball coach, female basketball coach, said she knew what it meant. She hadn't even lived in Mississippi 2 months. I don't appreciate that. But you know what? Our flag didn't stop her from coming, did it? Didn't stop her from being head coach, did it? That's it. Dollar signs. They are the NCAA, the SEC, CUSA. It's supposed to be over sports programs, but now they're telling us what flag we should fly and how we should live instead of out there worrying about sports. Do you appreciate that? As far as I'm concerned, they ought to get rid of the NCAA and the SEC. Seriously. Oh, they are the rich and successful businessmen and women of Mississippi. You look around, folks. They played a part in this. The MEC, Mississippi Economic Council, headed by a state graduate, they bought a whole, and I didn't bring it, newspaper ad in the Clarion Ledger, saying we, the Mississippi businesses, are against the flag. It ought to be replaced. Well, guess what? They are million-dollar businesses. And guess what? That $1 million was made right there under that flag. Didn't stop them from getting rich. All of them hire black and white and whoever else. Didn't stop them at all. They're against the flag. But they started a business in Mississippi, or they came in here. But they're against the flag, saying it hurts us economically. They lied. And they twisted the arm of they in this building behind me. Big business. They got together, told half-truths, and gave skewed perceptions of the truth about that flag. And we didn't speak up enough in time. Perceptions. Now, I could go off on a whole tangent about that, but let me tell you something, folks. Perception is not always reality if you're ignorant and you're prejudiced like all these liberals and anti-flaggers are. prejudice for you just because they're flat out ignorant. And you can quote me on that. Woo! I don't know if it's on my hot air or just the good Lord's breeze coming through, but I'll take either one. They're ignorant and they're prejudiced. On July the 1st, 2020, our flag was retired, they say. Not today. Look at it. Look around, folks. Look at this big large one right here in the middle. I'm not even sure who brought it, but God bless you for it. A fellow named Speaker Gunn, Lieutenant Governor Hoseman, and Katie Blunt, the head of Archives and History, big-time left-wing liberal. I said it. These three, look behind me, folks. You see this empty pole right here? It's empty. It's empty because that flag should be there now, and it will be again. Those three, mainly Gunn and Hoseman, they voted, they betrayed this flag and betrayed you, and they had the audacity to stand there trying to look dignified when it was taken down. Oh, and by the way, when you retire a flag, some of you military folks, you know this, there's a big, strict honor code to do it. They didn't do any such thing. Hauled it down, didn't even fold it correctly, jumped in an SUV, ran over to the Department of Propaganda, History Museums, and retired it. They didn't tell you when, they didn't tell me when. It wasn't announced because they didn't want you there. They knew you'd show up and protest. And they were ashamed because they couldn't face you or the majority of Mississippi. That was Gunn, Hoseman, and Katie Blunt. Don't forget them. No proper ceremony, no respect. It reminded me, the Japs, when they took the Philippines, they hauled down the Stars and Stripes. One of the Japs caught it with his foot and yanked it on off the pole. That's what they thought about the Stars and Stripes. Gunn, Hoseman, and Blunt didn't use their foot. They used their cold hearts and just ripped it on down. Just as disrespectful. That flag represents you, and that means they did it to you too. Do you appreciate that? No! They say it's retired. They say it's retired. We still say it's alive. Well, and deserves to be hoisted again. Resting on the truth of its meaning and its creation. Make it happen, Mississippi. Make it happen. If you don't, we won't get a chance again. Don't be scared. Wave that flag, put one up at the house, put one on your truck, your car, your four-wheeler, your baby stroller. Put it on there. Don't be ashamed. There's a bunch for sale right back there. Victory flags and more right back there. Don't leave here without one. Put it on. Put it on your cap. Don't be ashamed of the Southern Cross in the Canton corner of the Mississippi flag. That's what the true name of it is. The Southern Cross. Are you ashamed to be a Mississippian? No! God bless you, I'm not either, and I'm glad I'm amongst such fine folks. The fight starts again. The foxhole's dug. Any of y'all can jump in there with me. There's a little, might be a tight fit with my belly, but you jump on in there anyway. Because we're going to have to fight. Folks, you got to learn what you're fighting for. Read, study. Don't let, I see these youngins around here, teenagers and younger. Don't let them be brainwashed. Teach them right. My gosh. The other side's trying to brainwash them. And you better do it while you can. Because the Marxists, neo-Marxist, leftist thugs are going to take it all away from you. And this is just a start. This is just a start. Rest on the truth. Do the right thing. Stand up, Mississippi. Go forward. You take the Bible in your left hand, the Declaration of Independence with it, raise the banner. Ha!
in your right hand. Go forward and never retreat. Never retreat.